G'day guys, so it's been a while since I've posted a motorcycle related video, not since my New Zealand road trip around the South Island of New Zealand at the beginning of the year. So I'm a little bit older, a little bit hairier, but none the wiser. And today I thought I'd do a little motorcycle packing tutorial. I've had a few people in the comments ask me how I pack for a long distance motorcycle trip. So I thought I'd run you through everything I took on my New Zealand road trip. And that's on my Suzuki DR650 with my Kreiga soft luggage setup. So let's get into it. So let's begin with my left-hand pannier. These are the Kreiga OS 18s, so they're 18 litres each, and they attach with the saddle system, so you can buy the Kreiga saddle that goes over your back seat, and then these hook into the sides of that. So I'll open this one up now. It's just got a strap on the top and two on the sides. And it's basically like a big dry bag, so you just unravel it like that. And first up, in here I've got just a standard camping bag. You can buy these from any camping store. Basically ties up at the top here, tightens up, but I keep all my undies and socks in there, so I won't open that up and show you guys. I carry this as a washing bag, so all my dirty laundry I just chuck in this one, and when it begins to get too full I know it's time to do some laundry, so I'll usually do laundry once a week. And then I've got a pair of shorts. These can be worn casually, they can be worn hiking. Just a good outdoor pair of shorts is always good to have, especially if you're doing a lot of the hiking side of things like I do. And basically I just keep all my clothes loose in here. So you can put them in separate bags if you want to put your t-shirts and something, but I find it a bit easier to just sort of stuff everything in and around. That seems to free up the most space. So I've got some togs, swim shorts, and I've got some outdoor pants. So these are pretty good for casual wear as well. So it's quite good if you're traveling and you want to go out for dinner or something, you don't want to look too rugged. You've got a nice pair of pants that you can wear for both outdoors and for wining and dining. And then I usually have about 4 t-shirts on the trip that I last did, so get a couple of days out of both of them depending on how sweaty you get. So I've got the one that I've got on now and then a few more, so some more sporty ones for hiking and stuff like that if you're going to be sweating, and then some casual ones. And then digging a bit deeper, I've got a nice soft shell jacket, so this is really good again for casual use and outdoor use. And then I've got a hard shell jacket, so this is a rain jacket, so if I do some hiking or I'm walking around town or something when it's raining, it's always good to have a nice lightweight hard shell jacket for both of those purposes. And then lastly I've got a pair of casual shoes, so again these are nice to have just when you want to walk around town, you don't want to be wearing your motorcycle boots everywhere. And then a couple more things actually, I've got my pack safe lock. So this is a lock that I use to put all my motorcycle gear into when I'm leaving the motorcycle unattended. So if I'm going for like a day hike or something, I'll use this mesh bag to put all my gear in, so my boots, jacket and pants, and you can chain that up to the bike. You can also lock the helmet through it as well, so that's really handy. And also if it's going to rain, you can put all your gear in a big dry bag like this first, and then you can put this dry bag inside the pack safe mesh bag. So this dry bag here is an Osprey 70 litre to 100 litre, so you can fit quite a bit of stuff in there. So I found that to be quite handy for security and keeping your gear dry when you leave it unattended. Right, let's jump across to the right hand side. So one tip with packing is to always allow a little bit of extra space at the top of your panniers, so whether that's soft luggage or hard luggage. If you leave a little bit of extra space, that means you've got room for stuff that you pick up on the trip, or if you go grocery shopping or something like that, it's always handy to have a bit more space where you can put some of that stuff. So first up I've got my down puffer jacket, and I've got one of these Cedar Summit compression sacks which are really handy. You can basically put the puffer inside and then you can tighten these straps down so you can get this really nice and compact, so that helps save on a bit of space. So that's always a good investment. And then I've got a few divider bags. So in here I've got all my toiletries. In this one I've got all my kitchen stuff. And then in this one I've got all my charging cables. So I carry a bit of photography gear and my laptop on my trips because I do a lot of filming, and basically I need a lot of electronic stuff, so I find it quite handy to have everything divided into different bags, so when you come to pull stuff out it's all organised. Just to give you guys a quick overview of what's actually in these cubes, basically this is the one with all my toiletries. So in here I've got my toothbrush, toothpaste, some deodorant, a shaver, soap, and then my contact lenses. And then in this one I've got all my electronic cables, so if we open that up, these are Eagle Creek packing cubes by the way, so these are medium sized ones, and then my toiletries one was a small one, so they are quite handy. And as you can see in there, I've got a laptop charger, camera charger, drone charger, and just a few other cables for external hard drives and stuff like that. And then lastly, I don't have all the stuff that I would have had on my trip in this kitchen one, but I'll just give you a quick overview on some of the stuff I would normally take. So basically I've got a couple of collapsible bowls. These are Cedar Summit ones, and they're really handy because they just expand out like that, and then you can just fold them up. They fit really nice and snug anywhere. I've got a little can opener which is really nice and compact, and then I've got some cutlery which is also Cedar Summit, and then I've got a couple of other little cheap items. So in this one I would usually put some salt and pepper, and this one some olive oil. I can't actually remember where I got these from, but any sort of department store should have something like this. You can probably buy outdoor specific ones, but you'll pay a lot more money, so if you can get something cheap, these sort of things do the job. I've got a Jetboil spatula, and then I've got a little Leatherman knife that folds out for cutting up veggies and meat and all sorts of stuff, and then some hand sanitizer. So in this I would also have some breakfast stuff, so I'd have some oats, some granola, stuff like that. I just find it quite handy to put all the kitchen and food related stuff in one space. Moving along, I have a microfiber towel. So microfiber towels are really handy because they dry really fast. They're super lightweight and they don't take up much space like a full-size towel does. So definitely a good investment. So my next couple of items are not going to be very relevant for many of you, but if you do rock climb, you'll be pleased to know that I have managed to fit a harness and a pair of climbing shoes down the bottom of my pannier. On my New Zealand road trip that I just did, I did do a bit of rock climbing, so it was really cool to be able to have my harness and shoes and then just borrow a bit of stuff off the other climbers that I was with. And that's all we have for that one, so now I'll move on to my camping bag and my photography bag. The way I keep my photography bag and my camping bag on the back of my bike is I use rock straps. So I have one that goes over the camping bag and the photography bag, and one that just goes over the camping bag. I did have 3, now I only have 2 because one caught in the wheel. I forgot to tie it down and it caught in the spoke and ripped it, so I've still managed to keep going with 2. So basically just unclip that. That releases my photography bag, and then I've got another one that goes over the top of the camping bag here. So really quick and easy to get off and to tie down. And I'll just bring my camping bag down here so we can have a look at what's inside it. Alrighty, so my camping bag is a 25 litre first gear waterproof duffel bag. You can fit quite a bit of stuff in here. It can handle any weather, so it's really handy. It's super durable, you can throw it around and you don't have to worry about it. So I'll just open up what I've got inside. First and foremost, got the jandals, which I attach to the side of my duffel bag. So they're always good to have wearing around campgrounds. If you go to the beach, always good to have those. If we open up the roll top, we've got a sleeping bag in here. I've got a mountain equipment down sleeping bag. The temperature goes down to comfort level 0, so it can handle some fairly cold weather, which is always good. I was traveling in the summer when I did my last trip, so it wasn't really that necessary to have this, but it's the only one I've got. And if it does get cold at night, you know you're going to keep warm in that one. I've then got a medical kit, which is always quite important to have. You never know when you're going to need it. I also have my hiking boots, so I do like going for quite a few hikes on my trips. And I've got these Scarpa Rush boots, which are quite nice and compact. They're quite nice and light, so I can squeeze them in quite nicely into the duffel bag. Next up, I've got a Jetboil, so super handy for boiling water, cooking up your veggies. You can cook meat in it, you can basically cook anything in it. And it's got a really cool feature. When you pop the lid off, you can actually attach the gas to the bottom of the lid, and then it also has the igniter in here and the stand, so you can stand it up, keeps nice and stable. I also put my lighter in here as well, so that's really handy. Then I've got my sleeping pad, so I use a Nemo sleeping pad. It rolls up basically the size of a drink bottle. It's not too heavy, and when you blow it up it gets about 10 centimeters thick, so it's quite comfortable. I also have a Nemo blow up pillow. This has a foam pad on the inside of it as well, so it still folds up quite small. You can get smaller ones, but I do like to have a little bit of extra comfort with the pillows. And then we have my tent. So this is a Big Agnes Copper Spur HVUL2, and it's a 2-man tent. As you can see, it's pretty small, it's very lightweight, and basically I prefer a 2-man tent. I could go smaller, just have a 1-person tent, but I like to be able to put all my stuff in the tent overnight for security reasons and to keep it dry if it rains. So on the inside of my tent I'll have my camera bag, I'll have my motorcycle pants, my helmet, my jacket, and then underneath the fly on the outside of the tent I can put my motorcycle boots, hiking boots. I can put this bag under there so I have access to it. And then also on the inside of my tent, I can have all my toiletry cubes, my charging equipment, all that sort of stuff. So I prefer to have the extra bit of space rather than having a really small tent for those reasons. And then I've got a water filter. So this is really good if you're doing a lot of wild camping and you want to filtrate your water. So if you're getting water from a natural source, you're rest assured that it's going to be drinkable. And then last couple of items here, I've got my climbing helmet. So that's obviously not too relatable again to too many of you, but you can fit a climbing helmet in here. And then yeah, basically I've just got some tape floating around, always handy to have. I've got a little shovel if you need to do your business, which I didn't actually use on my last trip. And yeah, that's the nuts and bolts of what I put in my camping bag. Moving along to my photography bag. So this is a Low Pro Tactic. I've had this for quite a number of years. It's a really good camera bag. It's got all these nice dividers on the inside of it, so you can organize all your stuff really well. So opening it up, basically I would have my camera in here, but I'm using it now because I'm filming. So that sits quite nicely in here. I've got my 100 to 400mm Canon lens, which I didn't actually use much at all on my last trip, so it was basically a bit of a dead weight, so I probably shouldn't have brought it. And then we've got space for another camera lens there. So on my trip, I just took this big one and I took a 24 to 70 Canon lens as well. I've got my drone controller, my drone, which slots in there. My drone batteries, they all slot in here. I've got 3 of them. And then in the other ones, I just put a few other bits like my GoPro, any camera filters, my shotgun microphone sits in here. And then up in here, I put things like SD cards, external hard drives, and also my laptop that slots into here as well. And also my tripod, which I'm using at the moment also, but that clips into the side of my bag here. So basically, I clip that in with these little straps and it sits nice and snug. There is one more item that I would like to share with you guys that I take, and that's the Kreiga T9 backpack. So this is really handy to wear all the time when you're riding. It's got a hydration bladder, which I purchased individually. I believe it doesn't come with it. That is a 3.75 litre bladder, I'm pretty sure. And basically you can run the hose out through it, strap it into the strap here. So it's got a nice little Velcro holder. And throughout the day when you're riding, you can just keep popping this in your mouth and keep hydrated, which is one thing that I've found really hard on motorcycle trips, is to keep hydrated. If you don't have something like this, then you have to pull over for a drink. And in my experience, that means I don't pull over for a drink, and by the end of the day, I am super parched. So I would recommend one of these, it is really handy. They are super waterproof. You've got this little extra bit of webbing here, which is handy for just popping a few quick items in. So if you go to the grocery store and you can't fit anything else in your bag, you can just put it on the outside here if you're not going too far. And then it's got this little roll top. So if you open that up, and here I just keep a few items. So again, I'll allow a bit more space in here in case I pick up some groceries, but I've got a power bank. I've got a compass. You never know when you need that. I've got a head torch. I've got some insect repellent and sunscreen, and a few other little bits and pieces like GoPro mounts and stuff like that. So it is handy to have this when you've got items that you need to quickly pull out on the go. Things like sunglasses are another handy thing to keep in this. So that's all from me today, guys. I hope you found this video helpful. If you have any questions or there's any other videos you would like to see, please drop a comment below. And to help the growth of my channel, please don't forget to like and subscribe.